Welcome to The Prize Inside. The Prize Inside. A chiropractor's journey in everyday holistic health and vitality. Here, your host, Dr. Jeremy Myers, delves into the remarkable journeys of everyday people who have embraced the path to health and healing. Through his practice, Dr. Jeremy encounters inspiring stories of profound transformation and the power of true healing within each of us. Stay tuned as we discuss various holistic topics and unlock the healing potential that lies within us all.
Right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Whole Health Weekly. Hopefully you guys are having a great week. It's beautiful in Michigan. Had a great week so far. Kind of hilarious. Like my workout sessions are been going very well. When you burn yourself out though, and you are a chiropractor and you feel the tweak when you do new movement patterns, sometimes so it happens. A chiropractor kind of tweaked it tonight, so I'm nursing it to recovery. So that was pretty good. Hopefully you guys are having a great week. Tonight we go over different topics, and there's been quite a bit in the news since the last time we got to do a show like this. So we'll have some good discussion tonight. If you haven't seen, last week we did a interview on Tuesday night with Mary Trupiano. I did it again. Mary Trupiano on her health journeys. Next week we got another interview on a man that is an expert in Tai Chi. So I cannot wait for that. I have a mutual patient that loves it, and I've seen him transform this guy from a couch potato retired old guy to doing some Tai Chi, and like really his body's really responding. So next week will be that interview. I'm hoping to get a few of those. Obviously, that's one of my favorites to do, as you guys know. But before, a little housekeeping stuff. If you want a newsletter of all the different stuff we go over, totally free, get on Tribe1, tribe1.substack.com. So spell out tribe, the word tribe, 1.substack.com. And that will get you to my newsletter. So my newsletter is, a lot of times it's transcribed from our shows, so that if you miss something or, doses or whatever it is, you'll be able to get that really quick. So that's what I love. I'm getting that up there. The other thing is the Prize Inside, a chiropractor's journey on Rumble, the Prize Inside, a chiropractor's journey on YouTube. For those that are a little more not tech savvy, I had a patient today. I was like, if you subscribe to those channels, then it'll give you notifications that we're there. And when you subscribe, you can go see all the different videos. So like if you missed one on, multivitamins or, those kind of things, that is the place you can go. Or the macro minerals that we did the other day, the trace minerals. That is where those will be forever. So that's what I really enjoy doing this. We're getting up to that point of some good stuff, baby. And on Rumble, if I can get over 100 subscribers, that would be fantastic. We're at like 84. We've moved up like 4 in like a week and a half. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I'm hoping to bring you guys more interviews as we go. But this allows tonight to be pretty loaded with content, especially with something that made the news that we'll start with. So with that said, just remember tribe1.substack.com to sign up for the newsletter and subscribe the Prize Inside, a chiropractor's journey on Rumble or YouTube. And tonight, and if you watch it later, give me a thumbs up or like or whatever on, or a rating if you like podcast as well. So all of those things help the number. So with that said, let us get rolling. Let us get rolling on the one that I think everybody in health and healing kind of understood. This one is, everybody's getting very good at this one. So this was the major stuff of this week. So we go over this. The one that was made the most noise in all of health was cyclospora. So cyclospora outbreak. It was one of the largest U.S. foodborne parasite outbreaks on record. The CDC data shows thousands of domestically acquired cases, over 6,700 laboratory confirmed, probably more because the people that had that didn't really need to have a laboratory confirm it. They had other symptoms that were confirming a lot of that. So a lot of people going to the hospital, a lot of the hospitals not really knowing, necessarily being able to give them some kind of miracle thing. But it was a major multi-state cluster linked, they think, to the iceberg lettuce and if from a certain farm, we'll call it deniable, because I don't think they ended up finding that this farm from Mexico, from central Mexico, is actually the place that happened. But they kind of linked it to this farm in Mexico and a couple of the restaurants out there. I would hate to, most people understood, because the joke was, is this any different? This certain restaurant, is this any different than normal? So maybe people didn't understand that. But here's what's crazy. Michigan was actually hit it was 9 states, and Michigan was hit the hardest. But they said the communication challenges and concerns that public health system strains could worsen future outbreaks. And they're under investigation. So with this one, it was like a diarrhea type situation, but it was lasting really, really far in. Now, some basics of diarrhea necessarily, if somebody has a major outbreak like that, make sure that you're getting your vitamins and minerals and your electrolytes, into your body. So however you do that, make sure, and if you got loved ones that ended up having that, that is the key factor. Some people had it and then they were wiped out for 2 to 3 weeks. And that could be a problem, and it will leach your body of really, really good stuff. What I was hearing, I'm not sure necessarily what antibiotic they were using, but a lot of times if they got diagnosed with it officially, then they would give you this antibiotic. My opinion on antibiotics doesn't change much. I mean, I'm glad we have opportunities there. If you ended up with the antibiotic, though, remember, once you're through with that antibiotic, to chase it with a probiotic, because we need to have the good gut microbiome come back. Okay. So I'm not going to say anti-antibiotic. I don't know if it necessarily worked as well, those kind of things. You guys all know anti means, anti, and biotic means life. So it's going to kill a lot of your good gut microbiome, no matter what. And it might have been a situation where you had to do that because this microbe was coming in and you had to kill off stuff, right? No matter what. So it may have been a situation where you had to kill off the gut bacteria. If you do that, in the way we have to do it, it's not like direct at it. So we have to set off. We had victims, we had casualties, right? So we had major casualties of the good microbiome. So what you want to do is get on a good probiotic run right after antibiotics, right? So one of the things I learned a long time ago, if somebody's on an antibiotic, right, and there's no real sense of doing probiotics necessarily at the time that you're on an antibiotic, it's kind of like a wasted time. You could kind of keep it going, but you're going to kill off most of the stuff you're supplementing. However, after an antibiotic run, the moment afterwards, you should do it immediately. That should be one of the major things that you do, and get that microbiome back, because that could take several months on even a short antibiotic run. And it depends on the intensity and all those things. So a lot of times it's hard to rebuild. It's hard to rebuild that gut bacteria. That's why you don't want to take antibiotics willy-nilly, because it leads to other, it kills off these gut microbiomes, which then lead to other gut microbiome problems, which leads to more sickness, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So just remember that as we go. But I thought you guys would appreciate the cyclospora situation, because it was pretty horrific. It was just so ironic that it was with Taco Bell, right? Like, that was where everybody's like, oh my God, it's from Taco Bell. And a lot of other restaurants had the issue, but it was just funny because, it kind of happens if you eat a lot of Taco Bell anyway. So, I mean, that's how Michigan's known Taco Bell for a long time. So anyway, we'll go on from that one. But cyclospora, interesting. Just make sure you're replenishing your body. Remember, we're trying to give innate intelligence of our body the best possible outcome. So if something like that hits you, antibiotics not necessarily your best thing, right? But we got to get that gut microbiome back up after the fact. Okay. So that was cyclospora. It was very very interesting. And then there's a couple outbreaks. I wouldn't, we're here in holistic health looking at this. If we have outbreaks of any type, right, what is some of the solutions in all of innate intelligence? If your body is working the best it possibly can, a lot of times it's going to be your best protection, regardless of the fear of whatever is coming around. So those kind of outbreaks, think about that, making sure your immune system, if you're worried about those, then get your immune system up to a level that, it's working as best it can. How do you do that? Right? We've gone over this several times, but it's probably worth noting now, because we're going to have, like fall coming up. So I always say the first thing is limit sugar before you go to a big area. Okay. So fake sugar will be and always will be one of the major focuses of this podcast, because we talk about gluten, we talk about chemicals in our food, but we never name the fake sugar. Fake sugar is one of our major problems. We do a lot of seed oils right now. That's a big, word of the day. But really, in a lot of honesty, the fake sugar may be the worst of the worst, in the sense of your body thinks it's a chemical that's attacking your body, because it's not real, right? It's a chemical. It's a foreign invader based on, all those things. So the first thing you do in cold and flu season is I tell people, don't do sugar before you go to work. That's the first thing. Now we're going to take ZACEs. So zinc, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium. Now, I like to add quercetin or quinine to help kind of stimulate that zinc to get into the cells. If you stayed right in that realm, especially with your vitamin C level, your E, your zinc, all of those things, you're sitting really good, right? And so a lot of times you can do quite a bit with understanding, what the different seasons bring. Now, why would flus and sicknesses like that start occurring in the fall time? There's a few reasons. One, our sunlight goes away. So like our sun starts getting less and less throughout a day, which doesn't allow active vitamin D. And potentially, we don't really know, but there's a lot of interactions with chemical interactions that really like the sun, right? So a lot of times, making sure that we know the seasonal portions and what to gain on, right, is a big key. And so understanding the ZACEs, zinc, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and then add quercetin and quinine, the two Qs, and then you should be sitting pretty good, with one caveat that you're not doing a ton of fake sugar. So here's what's weird. Real sugar, not a problem. Why? Because your body uses it as energy. It understands it's actually food. When you have fake sugar, there's a sugar molecule, and I'll show you on the video, but I'll try to explain it on my podcast stuff. So pretend you have a little truck. Think it's a Mattel truck, okay? A sandbox truck. Think of a sandbox truck. And in the sandbox truck, in there, you have a rock that you're bringing to the sandbox. So you have this little rock in the back of the truck, and you're bringing it to the sandbox. Essentially, the truck is the chemical that the chemists of the world have created to bring the sugar molecule in. So the truck represents the chemical that has to bring the rock into the sandbox. Okay. So let's say it's just a thing of sand. Okay. So in the back of the truck, there's just a bunch of sand. So when the play truck gets into the sandbox, it's going to drop off the load of sand. The sand is what your body would use for energy. So that would be the sugar molecule, right? But the problem is the truck is in the body at that time. When that truck is in the body, one of the problems that you have is that is an enemy to the body because it's foreign. That's what the chemical that has to bring the sugar in is. Okay. So you have this chemical, this fake chemical that's going in there. And because of that, that's when we start getting, the problems, because the immune system starts to try to get rid of this truck that brought in the sugar or the sand into the sandbox. Okay. And so once that occurs, this truck, it's constantly trying to take out this truck where your immune system is so occupied. That is when we start getting sicknesses, because it's so occupied trying to get rid of the sugar, because it's not natural and your body doesn't know what to do with it. It's a foreign invader, that it ends up causing the problem going forward. So that's why I'm really pushing, like this time, it's almost August. So we got a couple more months before it's September, October, and all that flu season kind of starts rearing up. And if we can discipline ourselves to stay away from fake sugars, it's fine. Now, the big thing is like, why is real sugar like honey, cane sugar, just regular cane sugar, beet sugar and cane sugar, why are those okay? Because they're natural evolving sugars. And once they come into your system, they're just used as energy, and there's no byproduct of some kind of chemical situation that your immune system has to lose its mind. Sugar is a needed piece or physiology of your body. So we do need some, right? It helps with energy. It helps with burning that energy, but it has to be the real stuff. And that is what we lack in society. So just remember that as we go forward, understanding that some of these different bugs, these toxicities, if you have two things: one, really good gut microbiome that I hope all of us are gonna, let me put up my little QR code. Remember this QR code? It's for full script. It connects to me. But it's like Amazon shopping. There's like 35,000 supplements. So on there, if you hear something you like, QR code that bad boy and we'll get on. And then you can get on and become I will see you connected, and then me and you can kind of discuss, because I've done this with a patient or two. We can discuss, different supplementation that you'd like to take. And it's a nice little app. It's exactly the same as Amazon, except for they vet their nutrition supplements coming in. Okay. So with that said, let's go on to the next one. I'm going to bring it up, but it would, let's talk about this first. Let's talk about this. So, because some of this, I want to move forward. Okay. So there's been a lot of negativity on the sense of who's to blame for what when we're talking COVID stuff. And it's all over the place. That's all the news headlines are. What's frustrating to me is it doesn't help us. It doesn't move the needle. Um, Whatever happens, happens. I believe God has a plan. Like if there was bad players in the world, they'll get exposed, right? But what happens is we get so inundated with worrying about that, we don't progress as us. I believe that God put us on this earth to constantly evolve the earth, to move the energies of the earth. That's what I believe. I really believe our job was to get on present here and move the universe and just constantly be building. Well, if we're constantly looking at the fear porn of what is occurring behind us, this person needs to go to jail, that person needs it, whatever, right? And you can stay in there and get really, really mad, but not, learn how to cook with ketosis, or find out that new way. Like I did, the reason that was last Tuesday was I took a cheese making class, which I'm very pumped about. So very easy. There's some good cheeses out there. So that's the kind of stuff I want my crowd to focus on, because we can say all these things, this negative, that negative, about the sick care model. That's the model we have. Okay. And unless we actually move the needle ourselves, then we can't really be mad at it, right? Because we're accepting that by understanding and getting and gaining this knowledge that we can do. Maybe we start making better decisions. If we make better decisions as a collective, what happens to our choices in the future? It always occurs. Think about this. I always think about this because it's a fascinating concept. Okay, so remember, when me and you talk, the gut microbiome, I believe a lot of gluten intolerance type issues are your gut microbiome, and that it's not really a gluten intolerance, it's a gut microbiome, gut bacteria that has died off, and then now gluten, technically, or our fake gluten or whatever we have in standard American bread, is now an enemy, right? And because we don't have the bacteria, because our gut microbiome is so beat up and not good enough, then a lot of times if we could restore that gut microbiome back to what it was, then gluten wouldn't be a problem, right? But look at when gluten intolerance came, what happened? The market moved, right? All of a sudden in the grocery line, there was gluten-free, whole section of gluten-free stuff, right? And it was based on consumer understanding of what was going on. When the thought process, the consciousness of the people moved towards saying, hey, I'm going to start eating gluten-free stuff, the market moved that way. Okay. And so we can get mad at sick care pills, potions, all those things, but they know, if the money is moving that direction, whatever pill you can think of, that's where it's going to keep going in that direction, right? The moment we switch it and we say something else, some of these grocery stores, Trader Joe's, all of these places were they were touted as very organic. The reason they're touted that way, and then they could offer a bigger price too. So right now I'm hearing a lot of great farmers markets that are getting a lot of, good business nowadays, because we've started to do that. So what if the conscious collective, we keep going in that direction? What if farmers markets are on every road? You know what I mean? We can change the needle in healthcare. The problem is like we all have to do it as a collective consciousness versus, beating on the person that's trying to make all the money, right? Yes, it's very evil. A lot of these things are, but is it evil? Is it an evil choice, or is it just evil because of allowance? So remember that as we go. That was my soapbox for tonight. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. So here is the next one that I thought was pretty good. Oh, let's see. Let's see if we got some good ones. Okay. So let's go into the headline. I really like this one. So this one, before we get into Dr. Mercola's stuff, I found some on, I think it's Science Daily. So this is an article from Science Daily. Oh, my search didn't pick up the article, but we're just going to do the top headlines right now anyway. So this one's pretty interesting. It was called A Simple Way to Stop Cavities Without Drilling. A major U.S. trial found that silver diamide fluoride. Interesting. So it's a U.S. trial found that silver diamide fluoride, a liquid brushed onto cavities in seconds, halted decay in more than half of the treated baby teeth. It could spare many young children from pain, infection, and surgery with no drilling required. So that's kind of interesting that they're doing the studies that show maybe we don't have to drill the teeth. Maybe we can find a way to actually stop the cavities from happening, especially in the baby teeth. So I thought that was interesting. I just don't have the link to the article like we used to. So hopefully that'll be good. This one is near and dear to my heart. My kids would laugh about this one. Healthier French fries via microwave frying. Okay. Researchers propose combining microwave heating, which limits oil absorption, with conventional frying for crispier fries in less time with significantly less oil. Oh, so this one hurts my brain. We'll talk about it. One of the things that happens with me is I cannot stand microwaves. I think you radiate the crap out of your food. I think anything that can literally just radiate, I was watching, Rachel and I were watching The Blacklist, and they said they were making some kind of weapon. It was just a real quick thing on microwaves. The guy was experimenting with a weapon, and he turned on the weapon, and his chocolate bar melted in his pocket. And that's where he came up with the microwave, right? So the idea is it heats so quickly that it basically radiates the food, as that goes. Now, here's the problem. If we are eating beautifully live things, so even if you cook things, right, there's energy to it. There's energy in the food that we currently have. When we radiate things, it is of my opinion that you take a lot of these energetics out, and that can be a major issue. Okay. So I'm not a big fan of microwaving anything, but I see their point. So their point is that French fries, to make a healthier version, use less oil and then finish the cooking basically with a little bit of oil and then put it in the microwave. But if you're not using seed oil, if you're using seed oil, it'd be like crap and then crap. So I don't know if that's a good article, necessarily, but I thought it was funny. I was like, so you already got the seed oil stuff. Now, let's say you used like tallow to fry your food, right? Beef tallow is a fat. Beef tallow will make your stuff taste delicious anyway. So why not try it? Okay. So that one was good. I like that one. Let's see. Okay, I think let's do. Okay. This one is important because I see this right now because of a certain drug that's out there, and people are losing weight in a different pathway. But I'm not seeing that weight loss, to be honest with you, being a healthier individual. Okay, so this is kind of that same thing. So this one article is weight loss alone may not prevent type 2 diabetes. Even sustained 8% body weight loss wasn't enough for one particular vulnerable group. broader lifestyle factors appear necessary for some people. What I'm very concerned of now is that we have these weight loss drugs out there that are literally mimicking hormones of your body. It all goes back to the same thing, melatonin. Okay. So all of these ones that GLP-1s, all those things. One of the things that's happening is just like melatonin. Melatonin can be pretty traumatic if you introduce it to a child. Well, why? So why am I bringing up melatonin? Melatonin is a hormone that your body produces to help you go to sleep at night. Okay. Some people have found it and they put it in the natural realm as an herb, but it's literally a hormone you're taking. When you take that hormone, it allows that melatonin to get in your brain and you sleep better. Right. So what they found is like with kids, they were given this melatonin, the kid would sleep. But then the problem is your body is smart. The innate intelligence of your body knows what's going on. Okay. So if that's true, then when the child was getting melatonin, the body goes, well, obviously you have enough melatonin in your body. I'm going to stop making it. Okay. And so once you stop making the melatonin, then you're kind of relying on this supplement to be your melatonin versus the body making it. Okay. And so that is the key to a lot of these peptides. A lot of the peptides out there, really, it's kind of crazy how little research has actually been done and, those kind of things. And everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. And I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan yet. I haven't, especially the GLP-1 because it works the same as melatonin. GLP-1 is this hormone that tells your body you're full. If I tell the body it's full, if I have that hormone in my system and I have an empty stomach, what happens? Well, then the GLP-1 hormone isn't produced by your body anymore. So if that's true, don't I have to keep taking GLP-1 after let's say I lost every pound of weight I wanted to lose? Now I want to stop the GLP-1. That's fantastic. But what else got stopped? The GLP-1 hormone creation in your body. If that's true, then how are you going to know when you're full? You won't. And that's the problem. That's why one of the bigger side effects is once you stop these type of drugs and these type of peptides, because they're trying to hide that number, it's basically anabolic steroids. And it's like it's such a wordsmith game. It really ticks me off because we play with words so much. So years ago, it was high fructose corn syrup, and then they changed it to sucralose, right? You watch, it's all this mind game. It's like a magic potion that they try to throw at you and hoping you don't pay attention to the new word because I've, for a lot of natural people were going, don't do high fructose corn syrup. Don't do that. Well, all the people that are selling you food were like, oh crap, we're going to still use the high fructose corn syrup. We just need to have a new name for it. And so they changed the name. So then, of course, unknowingly, people are then taking that same exact situation and being like, I'm not taking any high fructose corn syrup. I take sucralose or fructose, it kept happening. And so I fear that we're in that same realm with this. GLP-1 started as this expensive drug. I think they're beyond, so many people were taking it that it's beat Viagra in its sales or whatever, which no one thought that was possible. And what's weird is I don't think Viagra has as many side effects for sure. But in a few years, we're going to be going, oh my God, why did we ever do that? Right. And that's what I hope for us to avoid. But be cautious. Sometimes I've heard I've talked to many on this subject, and some people that struggle hardcore with type 2 diabetes, it was a game changer drug because they changed their lifestyle as well. And that doesn't happen very often with a lot of these type of things, right? So we have to make sure not only are we losing weight, but are we eating the same stuff that got us the weight before? Are we eating the same exact thing because we're just addicted to those foods? Does it make sense to take something that tells you you're full, so you're just not eating, right? Eating the stuff that you're not supposed to, but then you're still eating that. I saw a lady, it was like crazy. So this lady's on a podcast or video and she's going through it and she's like, oh my God, GLP-1s, all those things, they made such a big difference for me. And like this tin, this is my tin right here. This is full of water. Okay. Like beautiful water. Okay. Oh, I'll have to tell you guys how the hydrogen bottle goes too. My kids are like very interested. We're going to do there's a water bottle that you can make your own hydrogen water. You don't have to do it all the time, but we'll talk about that one. But anyway, so this lady is like, oh, I can't believe how good I feel. And then she picks up, I won't give the brand because I don't want to be mean, but a high-end energy drink with so much garbage in there that they shouldn't sell it. And y'all know what I'm probably talking about. It's not just normal pop. It's like a high-end energy drink. And she was drinking it on the thing. I'm like, oh my God, honey. That has so much fake chemical crap in there. Your immune system's like going to lose its mind. And there's less of you. If you lost a bunch of weight or whatever, now there's less of you. And now all that fluid's going through you. I don't know. It makes sense to me to probably not do that stuff, right? We need to change that lifestyle if we're going to do those things. And I get it. Sometimes it's like a miracle to actually start turning the corner and doing a weight loss. But the ones that really are successful are the ones that maybe use that and then get off of it. A good example. I'll give you a really good example. So peptides, are they the evil thing in the world? No, probably not. But if we understand how to use them, maybe it'll be a little different. Melatonin is a good example. If I'm over 40 or 50, right, I don't produce as much melatonin. So sometimes melatonin might be something to kind of help your body's innate intelligence remember how much melatonin your body needs. Right. So that can be another avenue. So sometimes, let's say, taking that melatonin to go to sleep helps get it going, but then it's a time that you could take it away. Right. You don't want to keep doing it because your body wants to start producing it. So those are the things to kind of keep in mind as this new wave of, miracle body manipulation type drugs are coming out. They're just figuring out really good ways to say the same thing. But it's interesting because so much of the science, you never want them to stop though, because a lot of they find such cool things. That's why, the GLP-1 stuff. And then people started looking into berberine, right? I look at hibiscus, things that do blood sugar regulation and maybe help that GLP-1 hormone around could be understanding your role of herbals of like a berberine type herbal for you. So just remember that as we go, those are big things that could be there. I love this one. This is some Finnish research, from Finland. Sauna and the immune system. A single 30-minute sauna session followed by a short cold shower temporarily boosted circulating white blood cells of every type, putting the immune system on higher alert. So that is a study that proves that the up and down, the heat plus cold, right? So they were giving people crap about cold baths and those kind of things. A lot of times, I think I think it's people just trying to find stuff to talk about in the cold baths. Yes, there could be, if you're staying out in it for a really long period of time, maybe there's some negativity to that. But cold showers and cold bath type situations can be really, really good. So can saunas. That's what Rachel and I are looking at. Maybe this coming up. We're trying to decide, maybe you guys in the chat can figure it out. So I don't know. I haven't researched it enough, but I'm like, man, in our house, it'd be cool to do a sauna / like walk-in shower type situation. But I'm not sure. We have one bathroom that it would work really well in. I'm just not sure if they make them. I'm sure they do. I know they have the outdoor saunas all the time. I've been studying those. They look fantastic. So it's either going to be, but the outdoor one might be cool because you go into the cold, you get into the heat, the beautiful heat that's there, and then you get out into the cold right away. So that could be a really good option. So just remember that about saunas. All right. So now, finally, let's talk about Dr. Mercola. Remember, Dr. Mercola has a website, Dr. Mercola, Mercola. It's his website. If you get on there, get an email in. A lot of these articles you can find. He goes through so many arrays. It's really nice to have a dedicated spot that you can go. This one I thought was a really good article. This is by Dr. Joseph Mercola, like normal, but this is new data shows daily food choices. Daily food choices can affect sleep quality. Your food choices during the day may begin shaping your sleep at that same night. So let me read that again. I apologize. Your food choices during the day may begin shaping your sleep that same night, with measurable effects on deep sleep, REM sleep, and nighttime recovery. High fiber intake was linked to more restorative sleep, including increases in both deep sleep and REM sleep, along with less time spent in lighter sleep stages. The people who ate a wider variety of plant foods and more whole plant foods had lower nighttime heart rates, a sign that their bodies entered a deeper state of overnight recovery. So, did you hear that? So, people who ate a wider variety of plant foods and whole plant foods at night had a lower nighttime heart rate. That's pretty cool. Meal timing influenced sleep differently than food quality, affecting sleep duration, how quickly people fell asleep, and how hard their cardiovascular system worked during sleep. So the meal timing was also a key issue or a key factor in what was going on there. So better sleep doesn't start when your head hits the pillow. It starts with consistent daily habits such as eating whole foods and getting enough fiber if your gut tolerates it, maintaining regular meals, and avoiding ultra processed food. Okay, so that was a good article. Let's go into the next one. So this one's interesting. I like this one, so we're going to talk about it. So this one's article by Dr. Joseph Mercola again. So body's most mysterious organ may play a key role in longevity and cancer. What do you think one of body's most mysterious organs is? So this organ quietly shapes your immune system throughout life. Yet most people never hear about it until researchers uncover what happens when it begins to fail. Your thymus, a small immune gland behind your breastbone, where your chest plate, right, begins shrinking in early childhood. And research shows that better thymus health is strongly associated with lower risks of cancer, cardiovascular disease, metabolic disorders, and early death. Adults with healthier thymus tissue were about half as likely to die during a 12-year study period, suggesting that your immune age may influence longevity just as much as the traditional health risk factors. Smoking, obesity, chronic inflammation, high blood pressure, and poor metabolic health were also all linked to faster thymus deterioration, while healthier cholesterol levels and stronger physical resilience tracked with better immune aging. Cancer patients with healthier thymus function tended to respond better to immune therapy and survived a longer across multi-cancer types, which researchers linked to stronger and more diverse T cell defenses. Okay. So what we're going to do, I want to give you guys a picture of the thymus. Okay, so let's see if I can find a good picture images. Okay, so let's do. Oh, I like this one. This one's probably good. Oh, come on. Right there. Okay, let me share my screen real quick. Okay. So this is where the thymus gland. If you look at my screen right now, you're seeing it's right kind of in between the lungs, kind of sitting above your heart. Okay. So it's like in between there. It's this little gland that sits above that. Okay. And so what does the thymus do? The thymus, let's go back. So the thymus is a small organ that trains white blood cells called T cells to fight germs and protect the body. It is located in the upper chest and directly behind the breastbone, right behind the sternum, just in front of the heart. Okay. So it has lobes, those kind of things. But the key is the main functions is T cells. Okay. So T cell maturation. T cells are immune system cells. We have several different kinds. There's lymphocytes, there's mast cells, there's all kinds of different types of immune cells. Hopefully my podcast isn't picking up my dog. She is snoring today. But these T cells is where the thymus is the place for the communication for the T cells in our body. So, what the main function of the thymus is, it takes immature cells from bone marrow and helps them develop into mature T cells that fight infection. And so, it also produces special hormones like thymosin that help the immune system grow and work the right way. Okay. So, with that knowledge in your head, the thymus, is there anything maybe we can do about it? I don't know. But why wouldn't we not say, okay, in our immune system, how is our thymus doing? A lot of times we could say, okay, if we keep our immune system on this good path with good microbiome, not a ton of sugar, not a ton of fake sugar that our immune system's losing its mind. Think of, let's say think of your liver. Okay. So your liver is this detoxing engine. It's this big thing that has to detox your whole body, and it detoxes like everything. And it can do all of it. It can do the hardest fats to alcohol to every major chemical that comes at the body. The liver can detox it, right? And get it through your body. The thymus is a place where all these immune cells learn how to become immune cells, these T cells, and are able to go out there. Well, let's say all these T cells are constantly busy trying to take out this or that every single day, right? And if that is the case, then your thymus could be a big deal, right? So a lot of times when you're looking at these things, look at that. So if what should be one of our goals ultimately in health and healing is to get our immune system to a great place. And how do you do that? To start getting rid of some of these thoughts, toxins, traumas that are occurring that allow the body to not respond to that innate intelligence. The thymus sounds to me like it's a part of the brain of the immune system. Okay. So I thought that was a cool article. So we'll probably talk about the thymus a little bit more. I like that. That one is a good one. All right. And so we got one more we got to do. Because this one came out just July 24th. We've talked about this, but it's been a long time. So, okay, so this article is by Dr. Burkola. This golden drink may be quietly fighting inflammation. Okay, turmeric. So there's this thing we'll talk about it in just a second. Turmeric water contains curcumin, a plant compound linked to lower inflammation, improved circulation, and healthier digestion, reduced oxidative stress that gradually damage your cells over time. Even though turmeric water contains far less curcumin than concentrated supplements used in studies, consistent daily use supports hydration and helps reinforce healthier anti-inflammatory habits. Curcumin which is the active portion of turmeric, okay, helps support blood vessel flexibility, which may improve oxygen delivery throughout your body and influences blood pressure, circulation, and cardiovascular health. Adding black pepper, which is it has a ton of curcuminoids in it, helps turmeric. Okay, so turmeric, and so you can add black pepper to the turmeric water, may significantly improve curcumin absorption because of the piperine. Excuse me, because of the piperine. That's right. So the black pepper has piperine, and that piperine helps activate the curcumin of the turmeric. Okay, so it's kind of a combination deal. That's why you always hear, turmeric with black pepper is more effective, but it helps retain and use more of the active compounds. Turmeric water works best when combined with other lifestyle changes that lowers chronic inflammation, including reduced ultra-processed foods, improving sleep, and getting sunlight and staying physically active. All right. So I want to end it with one last thing before we go tonight. I always try to do some chiropractic research, and I'm very excited about this one. So the Make America Healthy Again area, where we're kind of going in that direction with RFK, has actually created and finally recognized chiropractic as a key role to health and healing overall. Okay. So it's a pretty exciting time. We're just kind of, as chiropractic, I know we're kind of like, we're guarded because we're like, okay, we really want to move forward with people understanding. We know the public understands it, but how do, governments and all those kind of things do? So this is the article that was pretty exciting in chiropractic stuff. So the Make America Healthy Again launched a chiropractic hub in late July 2026. Building on a March 2026 meeting with chiropractic leaders, it operates across education, media, research, and access expansion, coalition building, and federal advocacy. Key 2026 priorities include national PR education campaign, which we've never had, advancing chiropractic Medicare coverage, which is kind of cool. Like right now, if your Medicare, it covers chiropractic very well, except for two things, which is weird: x-rays and examination. So it's kind of crazy. And a lot of the different things that chiropractors like to do other than just the chiropractic adjustment. But for the chiropractic adjustment, it does pretty good. Integrating chiropractic into military health systems for active duty personnel, which in my opinion, they're falling off the map pretty hardcore right now. We thought it would get better. It's not been great. And expanding VA access for veterans and dependents. Officials have framed it as supportive drug prevention first, whole person care aligned with addressing chronic disease. Okay, so that was really cool. Here's a chiropractic one in the UK study. A British Chiropractic Association highlighted the musculoskeletal crisis with about condition crisis with about 428,000 people waiting for care, nearly 100,000 in a year. More than 20 million people live with musculoskeletal conditions, which count for about 30% of GP consultations, over 30 million lost working days yearly. This is over in the UK. There's in the UK, it's pretty freaking terrible for chiropractic side. And so now they're understanding, hey, maybe this is a good pathway to not have 30 million lost working days yearly over in the old UK. So they're trying to get better inclusion in a lot of these other countries. America's way ahead of the game in that sense in a lot of the chiropractic care. So that was pretty cool. Other than that, I'm going to leave the rest for next time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it tonight. I think we went over some good stuff. It's really cool being able to do, catch up on the really neat stuff that comes out in the news and everything else. Spora that made the news. I was laughing. I'm like, ooh, I get to talk about that in Whole Health Weekly. So hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your week. It's beautiful here in Michigan. where I do my podcast. I'm like looking out at this beautiful sunset, but just don't remember next week, Wednesday, I'm going to have a Tai Chi pro on here talking about the benefits of this Tai Chi stuff. What is that all about? So let's make sure you get here on Wednesday. Don't forget Sunday night, 8:30, we do our other show, 1% Tribe, where we look over thoughts, toxins, and traumas. This week is an herb, so I got to figure out what we're going to talk about as far as herbal goes. But other than that, you guys have a great night. And just remember, health it's a journey. Just treat it as a journey. It's not necessarily a destination. And we can do this. That's why we're all together. Have a great night. Don't forget to subscribe. It was good talking to you. Take it easy.